You were making a funny face right
I don't know
before
what
as
you're
the
talking about,
countdown.
man.
The software
I
counts
don't know what you're
down
talking about.
5, 4, and you were making a
Mm-hmm.
crazy face.
Fake news.
Yeah. Hey, welcome everybody to Office Hours with Not Replaced Yet. Nick and Jesse here.
Welcome.
Day 3 of our continued Get This Off the Ground series. I think we've had a single digit number of people tune in up until this point, but that's cool because it's muscle memory and it's getting the kinks out, like we said in version 1, and we're gonna keep going to get all the kinks out and hopefully produce some useful things, valuable things, entertaining
Definitely.
things on the way in. So yesterday, if you we'll say hi, Nick. Everybody wanted your
Hi, Nick.
throngs of fans. Let's see. Hold on. The thumbnail doesn't pop up, so we're live on YouTube. The
Yes,
thumbnail
we
doesn't
are.
pop up,
I
but
see
now
it.
when I
I'm
replace it,
on.
it does replace it. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what I didn't do?
What?
I didn't edit the stream name. You see how it's
Ah.
the same name? I mean, it is true.
I
We're
don't. I don't
geeking
even
out
see the stream name. No, that's
oh,
fine. That's fine.
on YouTube. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. So yesterday, Nick took us through some agentic updates. I actually have, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to share my screen because it's proprietary client information, but I have an agentic workflow running. Um, I wish I could. Can I change this? Yeah, I can. I can change this so I can take this off. I can share it just because this is running in the background. So real world, not planned. Um, work. Da, 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 da. So this is a make.com automation. And yeah, what this is doing, can you see this okay? Zoom in a
Yeah. Yeah. I
bit.
can see it.
What this is doing is it's getting a list of URLs. This is an SEO agent that I've constructed through some fundamental parts. This gets a list of competitive URLs for our client. This then goes to each of the home pages of the competitive URLs and scrapes them. So this is Scraping Bee, a service that by itself is pretty cool, but when you chain it together inside of make.com, which is like a Zapier and workflow automation platform, it will actually allow you to customize this chain. And so we get the list of URLs, we scrape the DOM, the document object model, the content of that website, we feed that into ChatGPT. I'm using 4.0, especially good since the upgrade a week and a half ago, I think. I ask it to output a list of URLs that are A tags or links from the original scrape in a JSON format. I then loop through that JSON. I parse it, loop through that JSON, and I drop it into another scraping bee so it gets all the interior pages. So think we're grabbing an entire like sitemap here from the home page, and then we're looping through that sitemap every page, and we're getting, then we feed it back through a second OpenAI GPT-4o call that extracts the H1, the title tag, and the H2s, and an estimated primary SEO keyword. And so this at scale, you can see we've done 183 competitive pages. Once this is built, it can run on a loop, and I can run it daily or weekly or however long it serves my client's goals or our client's goals. And yeah, so this is like a roll your own agent, but it is like the hybrid of regular legacy computing and applications with the intelligence layer built in at key stages. So I didn't really plan to do this, but I need to run it because we have some SEO work to do. So
No. No.
I'm kind of
That's
doing
great.
both at the same
And
time.
I think it's cool showing this kind of stuff off. I know we definitely plan on even creating full, sort of like larger tutorials to help people learn how to do exactly this kind of stuff.
Definitely.
There is a thing, since you pulled that up. Um, well, actually, you keep going, but I think that's really cool. And how I think of Make is like you're right, like you're creating your own agent, but agent to me is it would be text that could then chain all those actions together. That's how I would think of like an AI agent, right?
Right.
It's almost like you're manually creating all the steps, which is fine and good, and even in a lot of cases these days, more consistent.
Hmm.
and you still get better outcomes with that type of thing in those platforms, and so it makes a lot of sense. And then to me, the agent upgrade would be you just describing that in plain text, and it just builds it, sort of automatically.
Yeah,
Would
the
you
self.
agree with that?
Um, I think it's two tiers. I think that if OpenAI says deep research is an agent, which is like yes, a text prompt, but only a single activity hard coded to be done. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it is the minimum agent. It's like, okay, you're gonna Google research, refine, etc. Search,
Yeah,
research, refine, etc. So I would say like I think of what I build in those cases as an agent. You can also like trigger them through a lot of other things. I could trigger them with text, and I can have that text be an input, be a
yeah,
processed input. I just would have to set up a text input somewhere, right? I could trigger it with a webhook call, so when something else happens, start it. So it can be kind of
totally.
autonomous based on what happens in the real world. But anyway, if you're a beginner, if you tune into this and you're a beginner, don't think that this is like this is a little geekier than we aim to keep it. But you can kind of tune technology. If you know nothing else, you know you can tune technology, you can bake in the AI intelligence, and you can have specific use cases and outcomes, which is really, until we get to what Nick's talking about, which is more like building agents kind of composing on the fly to do
Mm-hmm.
various tasks. Um, this I think is the way that you can kind of have that. I'm borrowing it from Andrew Ng because he gave a talk about agentic capabilities today, but he said, you can have tomorrow's agents today if you do these, if you architect them like this,
Mm.
and that really resonated with me. So um, cool.
Well, you were
Anything in
saying
the
you
new?
had some. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, good.
I was just going to ask if there was anything new you saw today that's worthwhile, or else I do have some stuff to
I
pull
mean,
up and
there
talk
are
through.
some pretty cool things, but why don't you just take it away? You said you had some
Yeah,
video
yeah,
stuff going on, right?
yeah. So I mean, text to video. I think if you're here, you probably have heard of that, seen that. Sora is OpenAI's um, flavor of this. Just to be clear, in fact, let me bring up Sora really quickly. La 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 la. Okay, so here's a question, and I don't know the answer. You may, or we can do some experiments live here.
Hmm.
Pow pow. Since image generation launched in ChatGPT, they also integrated that image generation in Sora. And so, a question that I've had that I haven't seen any answers to is,
Yeah.
was Sora upgraded as well? Does the underlying image generation improvements trickle up into Sora being a better tool? Because up until this point, I find that Sora is like last place for me. Like Sora launched and it was already not as good as some of the other purpose built tools.
Yeah.
And then since then, two or three generational upgrades have happened across those various tools, and Sora still hasn't kept up. So have you played with Sora? And for the
Yeah.
audience, if they don't know, I mean, it is, you can see that chicken moving, that chicken made of popcorn. That's a text prompt. That's a video output. Sora now has image and video output with the release of that
So
GPT.
crazy.
But
Um,
yeah,
yeah. So I actually, I don't know, because I haven't done a ton in Sora lately. I went to the 4.0 announcement on OpenAI.com, and it says 4.0 image generation rolls out starting today to Plus, Pro, Team, and free users as the default image generator in ChatGPT, coming soon to Enterprise and EDU. It's also available to use in Sora.
yeah, yeah. I saw that too. And the question was like, I wonder if that is like, if by upgrading that, is there increased capabilities on the video? You know what I mean? Like the image kind of is the beginning. Here you go. You like the Harry Potter? I think that's a real picture, unless it's like a
That's
deep
funny.
fake from a long time ago. But I
Yeah, I
feel
don't
like I've
know.
seen this picture.
I don't know.
Anyway, so this is Sora, and uh, let your hair down. Wrong tower. I don't mind.
That's awesome.
That's ridiculous. So Anyway, I mean, look at stuff like this. Like,
What's the animation on that one? Go to that one. I want to
well,
see it.
so I think it's just an image because Sora's in there. I mean,
All right,
image
yeah.
generation is in there. But I mean, look at this ridiculousness. What is the
Jeez.
devilish teeth reveal? There has to be more of a prompt than that. I don't know where the prompts are. Edit story. Yeah. And Sora does have the storyboard feature, which is like a great idea. When it first launched, I wasn't a huge fan, but you can kind of like map your ideas into things. So anyway, we're gonna come back to Sora because I haven't done anything since then. So let's do that last. But I wanted to
All right.
show 3 different AI tools. Nobody tell my daughters that I'm using this image of them because they probably wouldn't like it, but none of their middle school or high school friends watch this program. So, by evidence that I called it a program, I'm too old for kids to watch. So this image right here was a still picture. It's my 2 daughters on the outside and their friend in here. And they make, for fun, a video series that I won't say the name. It's just like them making fun stuff. But in the next installment of their fun video they're going to make, I've been talking to them about like zhuzhing it up with a bunch of AI. And so they're gonna go into the evil layer of this comedy satire video. And so we wanted to see like what could we get out of each of these tools. We wanted them to turn around and walk into the layer. And so what this was a mid-journey image that I created, evil layer or something. And then I took a still photo that they had, cut out the background in Photoshop, and then pasted it over top and used that image as input for this. And this is Luma Labs, Luma Labs product called Dream Machine. I'll pull up the website really quickly. For a moment in time, this was my go-to. And you can see they're bragging about their camera movement stuff. All these videos were created with their AI, and you have like zoom and pan and tilt and spin and top down and all these camera movements that they are claiming they are, that are functional inside of their tool, which I think is a cool concept. Like, I do believe that this is like the toolkit for the prosumer and eventually the professional, like even somewhat now the professional. And so, Midjourney started by allowing you to specify lenses and aperture and camera settings, right? These video tools should do the same thing. So anyway, that was their teaser. So I couldn't get them to walk backwards in Luma, I don't think. And sometimes the faces change, like, her face changes pretty considerably, like a different person now. And
Yeah.
I don't think I got him to walk backwards at all, but it's still pretty cool. I mean, taking
No,
still and like it brings them to life. They walk through. Here was another
sure.
one. Let's see. Yeah, they kind of like float forward and blur. You can see the prompt: 3 characters in the foreground turn their backs and walk away from the camera. Different prompts I was trying to get them to turn around and walk through.
Yep.
And then Cling is one that's really been on. I've just been seeing it mentioned more and more and more. Have you used this one? I hadn't until this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find it to be like better or?
It's the same as you. I've been seeing it as kind of standing out as one of the leaders right now. And at first, it felt like it wasn't. At least that was my experience with it. And I am just doing small tests because I don't have any real, real assets to create.
Yeah.
With
And I
video
mean,
at
you
the
see what I'm
moment.
doing
And
with it.
so,
We're not doing any
yeah.
video in production for our clients. This is all either storyboarding ideas, FPO, like mood boards, or just family fun, Cling, I do want to mention pricing models. I think Luma gets in at $20 a month is what gets you over the freemium. All of these have some level of freemium model where you can try them. And then Luma's like $20 a month for their intro tier, which I do subscribe to. It's pretty cheap given all the other tools that we use for brainstorming and things at the agency. Cling, I haven't bought any credits, but they have a credit system. Basically, you pay credits to generate images. So let's take a look at the same type of video. their faces all changed. But I was able to get them to walk backwards, to walk
Yeah, that's
up
great.
to the door. You know what I mean? And the door will even open. So like, if they choose to mix this into their edit, you're picking pros and cons. So that one was pretty good. Let's see the other one. They all kind of walked away. This was, I think, the first one I did. 3 ladies look at the camera, then turn their backs and walk away, and then into the door. So 2
Yeah.
of them left, and she kind of loses her balance and finds her way up there. But I found that Kling was better than Luma at this stage.
Okay.
And then, by happenstance, Runway, which was the first video tool that I really tried months ago. I don't even know how long ago. And they just released V4. So they were on V3. I felt like Luma had really eclipsed them. And these video tools, it's really a cat and mouse, like one-upsmanship game. Because like when the new Luma drops, it will probably be better than Runway. When the new Runway dropped, it was probably better than the last Luma, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have the longevity with Kling to say that, but I would imagine. So, I mean, it's how AI is going, right? Like the
Right.
curve of all of the AI. So these videos were ones I launched or generated, I think the day or 2 days after the latest and greatest came out. So spoiler
Yeah.
alert,
We got someone
Runway
coming in.
is the doggy's coming in. Daisy. Had some cameos. So Runway, yeah, I'll show you some of the older ones. This was kind of cool. This was just an experiment. I forget why I wanted to do this prompt, but it was, come on. It was pink sheets billowing in the clouds. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, no matter what, it's a cool effect, and you could see how it could be used for something interesting.
that's right. Like, this is like a Downy commercial or something, but,
Yeah.
for our purposes, it's like, I'd rather do this than go get stock video personally.
Yeah.
And I have a current beef with Shutterstock anyway. So if I don't have to pass money on to stock companies, I'm happy about that. So let's see if there were any others. A lot of these were, I'm not going to show those. Some of those are client things. But if I come down here and we look at, is this the latest? Yeah, this is the latest. So they turn and they run up here. And
That's
there
pretty
is
cool.
some, yeah, it's pretty good. They kind of like morph
Ah.
into the door. It kind of fails, but I did a 10-second
Yeah, but that's cool.
generation. Most of these default to 5 seconds. But then I did a 10-second generation. So like you could cut it right as they're walking up. If you wanted to
Absolutely.
edit this
Absolutely.
into your video, There was a few others that still were good. Kind of walk forward, turn around. There are, oh yeah, this one is really mutated.
Oh,
They all
oh.
kind of just blend into
Cool.
the door. There's also like
Nice.
people. It adds people behind them. Let's see what this one was. Both of their hair goes short,
All right.
and they kind of get a waddle. But the camera follows them. It's like pretty cool. All 3 of their hair goes short. I
Yeah.
think it's probably like 3 characters look at the camera, then turn their backs. I bet that's like a male preference in the training data. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
so.
They're characters, so they're boys. You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe so.
it wouldn't shock me. So, anyway, this was really fun. I mean, it's completely unrelated to like work stuff, but the tooling. Oh, here's one other that I wanted to show. So, I've got a couple experiments I want to do too, but we probably won't do them live. So when I made pizza a few weeks ago, I was taking pictures and I was taking them at different angles. Like pizza from the pizza was up top and the pizza's down here. And if y'all are watching, I make a lot of pizza as a hobby. But I wanted to see if I could take 2 stills from different angles and if the AI would extrapolate an animation in between, right? Could I get a smooth pan down or, what is that, tilt down, or truck is sideways. I forget what the dolly. No, dolly's forward. What's the like moving the camera physically down, not tilting? There's a very specific.
Swipe.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, let's see if this was the good one. Yeah, that was the good one. It's like perfect. I mean, this is from 2 stills, start frame and an end frame.
Yeah, that's cool.
and it adds a little steam at the end. I don't know if that comes through in the share.
It does. Yeah, I can see it.
Some of the other ones weren't quite as good. You'll see this kind of jump cuts. No, that one
Hmm.
was pretty good too.
That's pretty good.
Mm. I did 3 or 4 others that weren't. Here's some that were not very good. I was trying to get the boys playing basketball. I wanted to get a dunk because like a year from now you'll be able to put the
That
kid,
would be cool.
take a picture of your kid playing basketball and put him in Madison Square Garden
Yeah.
and all sorts of that. So let's do one on Sora just to try
Yeah,
since we
sure.
started with that. Is that cool?
That's
I
fine.
do have to. I'm gonna stop sharing so I can get my I can get the image from my email.
So,
What's the
since
what's the cool
we're
what's that?
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say what's the coolest video output that you've seen?
That I've seen? Well, uh, the coolest video outputs that I've seen are not like a single prompt or something from a single image. It's people creating things, putting them together, right? Like I really liked that. It was so after when GPT-4o announced the upgrade to their image output, then of course the big trend was the Ghibli style imagery
Yep.
for animation, and then someone took that and recreated the entire Lord of the Rings trailer, and so something like that is just really fun, impressive, and it's just a. That's why when you were saying like when the in the video with the girls when they walked up to the door, well, you just cut. Like you have a great video up to a certain point, and then that's a part of your edit, and then you put something in right before they hit walk through the door and start looking awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, that's what I think. That's the current state as I imagine it. Like you can get really cool video outputs, you can edit them together, and that's where it starts to look really great. And then of course over time it'll just get better with one shot prompting and other, or a few shot prompting or something.
Totally. Yeah, I thought the Lord of the Ring piece was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do you have a strong like ethics and copyright opinion on the Studio Ghibli stuff? I mean, you've seen the whole uproar
Yeah, I mean
about.
it's yeah, of course. It's a fair like I just like empathize with the animators of after all that stuff started dropping. There was this one so there's a documentary. I've never watched it. I want to watch it now, but on the creation of one of their movies, and it was this really cool looking crowd scene, and it was a 4-second clip of a crowd scene, and it was massive amounts of people moving through a crowd. And in the documentary, they talked about it took them a year and 3 months to create 4 seconds of their movie. Um, and the like I forget his name. Oh, Miyazaki, the director.
Yeah.
And he went in and like congratulated the main animator who worked on it, and the guy looked like he was almost in tears about like how much he accomplished. And so there's just something so and God, this is so inevitable in this world and in what's happening right now is that his work got trained on by OpenAI, that the value then the time and the effort and the hardship and the long nights and the whatever all just got sucked into the training data, and now really amazing but cheap versions of his work are being output in seconds, and it's
Yeah.
like it's amazing and awful all wrapped up in one, and it's like two things can be two things.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. Oh wait, I just started a video without a prompt, so that's interesting. We'll see what we get there.
We get a blank
Let me
video.
share it again. No, I had the image prompt. I just didn't tell it to do
Oh yeah,
anything.
yeah,
I put the
sure.
I had to download that image because I didn't have it
It's gonna be
queued.
a surprise for me too.
Yep. New video. Click to retry. That's a non sequitur. Pew 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 share.
The
New
popcorn
video.
chicken one is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Content can't be shown for now. We're still developing how we evaluate which content conflicts with the policy. Okay, so here's something, and this is probably DOA. OpenAI does not allow you to use children in your images
That is smart.
for obvious
Yes.
reasons, right? Even
Yes.
though they're my kids, and I say, "Hey, these are my
Well,
kids," and
two of
so would
them
anyone
are.
who is doing bad stuff. So, Juliet, though, using my account, my 14-year-old, was able to upload that photo and do like Futurama version and
Yeah.
comic book version and everything, right? And it was of her and her sister and her friend. And it was my account. Now, when I tried to do it and I tried to, remix the background and put them in front of Evil Air, the image generator said, no, sorry, violates our content policies.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, not going to do it, even though the day before she was able to do it. I bet it's the same thing here with Sora, where they're just overly, not even overly. I don't mean it in a judgmental way, but they're very cautious when they think that they have kids.
Right.
And as well, they should.
They
be.
should be doing it.
They should
right.
be.
Yeah.
Well, this is where you and I came to with like Google Photos and Apple Photos or whatever Apple's equivalent is for like the creativity of the personal photo. The personal, like we all have these databases of family photos or individual or friends or whatever. And the Google Photos layer seems like the one where you could, like only you can upload them. You have some personal identifier to your device or something.
Yeah, but even still, I mean, what you're doing is you're guarding against negative use cases. So like anyone
Sure.
can upload any photo to their Google Photos. So
Sure.
yeah, I think it's just like it should just be by any of the non like, I mean, open source models or
The thing is, you
you
could
know,
do it however you wanted. There's
yeah,
bad
but that
behavior all
the
over the place.
companies, it should be the company policy that you can't do that, and
Yeah.
like kids are obviously the you know where they should start, and like
I know,
not
but
allow people to do it.
I have gotten mixed results because I just put a bunch of family photos in, and some of them were just
Oh,
me
well,
and
it's an automated system. It's you sometimes it'll trigger and sometimes it won't. That's just that when it doesn't trigger, they're failing, and they'll get
Yeah.
their automated system will be better, right? Like that's it.
I wonder if there's a better nuanced way to allow people to use their own assets with their own kids in them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I agree with you. I just am like,
Maybe.
if I'm putting a family photo and I say put it in Paris, I mean, that's a use case for the app. That's not like a rogue behavior. So anyway, cool. Well, that's all I had to share. Anything else you got?
I think that's good for today, man. We've been going for a while, so
Yeah.
I think we call it and come back tomorrow.
Sweet. All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Leave instead of stop.
Hey.
Okay, cool.
Cool.